Alright guys, so today we're going to put some rear shocks on the old IAA Cummins auction truck. I've been driving it. I've got about 1,000 miles on it since the last video on that truck. And man, it's been good so far. It's got its faults. It's an insurance truck. 184,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure whoever owned it never did maintenance on it. Like shocks, for example, it still has the original shocks on it, as far as I can tell. With the 2014 trucks, the rear suspension on the 3/4 tons is coil springs. So they have, without shocks, man, the rear of the truck is super bouncy. And we're going to tow with this truck this weekend. Oklahoma to Florida in this insurance truck. We're going to be picking up a tractor and the front bumper for it. We still don't have a front bumper. I've been driving this thing for like 2-3 months with no front bumper and getting made fun of, and it doesn't even matter because I'm in this thing for nothing. Right now we're at like 14.7, 14.8 in this truck. So it's been good so far. Other than we're just trying to catch up the little things that have been neglected for the last 10 years on the truck. So these are Bilstein 5100 series shocks. These are really nice shocks. These are their high-end series. They're, like I said, they're 5100 series, and that's what we're putting on there. I splurged a little bit, and instead of buying the Amazon cheapies, $15 shocks, we got the Bilstein $100 shocks. They're probably not going to last any longer than the $15, but they'll ride better. I'm sure they're going to make a world of difference. So we'll blast through this real quick and see how it goes.
Cue the montage!
Cue the montage! Get you some of that! Alright, so in order to change the shocks on this truck, these are the tools you're going to need. 21mm socket. I use an adjustable wrench because I like every size wrenches. You're going to need a 3/4 inch wrench or ratchet wrench. A 18mm wrench or ratchet wrench. 8mm socket or ratchet. I have electric ratchet. Vice grips. A 6mm Allen wrench, and a sawzall for them pesky old shocks that you can't quite get to hold. I'll show you what we're going to use that for in a minute. So first order of business, we got to get the wheel liner out of this truck. So the only way you can access these shocks is to pull the wheel liner. So I'll show you this. So the top shock stud's right here. Okay, this is the upper stud. There's no way to get to it. Gas tank's here. The gas tank's right here. There's no way to get to it. So I'm pretty sure they designed this so that the inner wheel liners come out to get to this. It's the only way that I've seen just by looking that you can do it. So to get the wheel liner out, there's an 8mm screw here, 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 right here, here, here. There's one here and one here. So all in all, that's 10 screws you got to take out, and then you got to fight the wheel liner to get out of this thing. Just like so. It's a pain to get out. That wheel liner's a pain to get out, but you just wrestle it out of there and it'll come. So don't be afraid to get aggressive with it. Here's the retainer clips for this screw here and the screw here. Make sure you don't lose these. Sometimes they fall out, sometimes they don't. Alright, so to the fun part. Now that we got that wheel liner out of here, like I said, here's your upper shock mount. It is a stud. It is in a terrible spot. So what's going to happen on these shocks is there's no way to really grab this. It's a nut. I believe it's an 8mm, and you can do it this way. You put your 18mm wrench on here, and then you put an 8mm right here on the tip of the stud, and you can hold it while you wrench it. The other attack is if for some reason this is stripping on you, whatever, you can grab the actual shock shaft itself. These have boots on them. These are plastic on the shock. So you'll have to cut this. So that's why I have that Sawzall, is if we need to cut it, we can make a cut it like a triangle, and then we can put vice grips in here and grab the shaft, the shock shaft, and that will allow us to hold the shock shaft while we get the top nut off here. So we can try it the proper method first, and then we can try it the other way if we have to. That's correction. It's not an 8mm. Yeah, see how that's just slipping on there? That's never going to work. 18mm wrench. Let's see, it just spins. So we're going to take this vice grips, grab it up here at the top of this shaft. Right now, we have the head stripped. Vice grips aren't grabbing it no more. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead, take the Sawzall, make a cut here, cut there in a pie, and just grab that lower shaft. Alright, so now you're able to grab the lower shaft right here. These shocks are trash anyway, so you don't have to worry about, you don't want to do this on your brand new shocks. Okay. All right. Take our every size wrench. Just like that. Use our impact socket. Okay. Okay. Shock's out. We are pressing the shock down right now. And the shock is not coming up. It's just staying collapsed. This is a blown shock absorber. I'm gonna have to pull it up. So there's no dampening. So that tells you the shock absorber is blown. This should rebound. When it travels upwards, that's called rebound. And it does not, it just stays. Alright, so Bilstein really is one of the nicest shocks I've used. For the boot, for the protective boot over the shock shaft, they actually come pre-installed, zip tied on down there. It's the only way really to hold that on there besides for a metal band clamp. And then for the upper side of the boot right here, they actually build a bushing to retain the upper part of the boot. Most other manufacturers, they just use the rubber on the boot to kind of hold it in place. What happens over time is that rubber just wears out and these boots end up not doing their job. So there's a shoulder for that bushing to ride on, so the shaft always stays protected. So easy to assemble. Let's get our little hardware. Okay. You're going to have a couple of washers. You're going to have a couple of rubber bushings. And then you're going to have a metal sleeve insert. This goes inside this bushing. Okay. This one is labeled lower right here. It says lower on it. So you're just going to take that metal sleeve, Both the washers are labeled upper, but just so you know, they're coned, they're dished, and the upper part goes down. The side that has a writing on it goes down, and then on the top side, the one that says upper goes up. They both say upper, but just remember they go opposite of each other. You'll take one of the coned washers with the concave side up. Then you take the rubber bushing you installed the sleeve in, and it goes with the protrusion up. And then the upper one, there is writing on the outside. That goes up, and it'll do this, and it'll sandwich the frame. You'll take this washer here, stack it on top, like so, and then your nut goes on top. It's pretty easy to put it together. It's not hard at all. This right here, the sleeve and everything's used so that you can't compress this bushing, this rubber isolator bushing, more than it's designed to be compressed. That's pretty cool that they designed that in there, because I don't know about y'all, but when I've installed shocks, most of them don't come like this, and you just compress that rubber isolator and compress it, and you're like, man, when do I have it compressed too much, or when do I have it compressed enough? Well, Bilstein started that, and they took the guesswork out of it. It's pretty nice. On this shock, there's a part number here. And on the opposite side of the shock, just a warning label. I like to put the part numbers facing outward so that if me or anyone else gets back underneath here, they can just look at it and automatically know what the part number is. So we're going to go up through this hole here, and I don't know, you can see it, but see that hole right here? That's where we're aiming for. Okay, there it is. Make sure you get the old isolator out of here. Okay. Like I said, the writing on this isolator goes to the top. Washer, and then our new nut. Now what has to happen is we have to compress this shock, because that strap was there to hold the shock compressed, but since we had to remove it to install our bushings, we gotta do this hard way. All right, there's that. Let's put the nut on. And we're going to do what's called the scientific method of torquing by ugga-duggas. We're going to do, let's say, three ugga-duggas. That's what we're going for. All right, now that you have that done, go back to the top side here. All right, now we have to tighten the nut on the upper shaft mount. That's not difficult to do. You're going to use that 6mm Allen wrench, and it actually goes, unlike the factory one, it's got an Allen key up top, and let's see, get you in here. So the factory one doesn't have this Allen key, but the aftermarket one uses Allen wrench, which in my opinion is better. You can see how that Allen wrench fits in the top. All right, so you have to put your wrench on, then put your Allen head in. Okay, like so. All right, there it is. And then finish up the job, you pop the wheel liner back in. I'm not going to show you how to do that. So either way, thank you guys for watching this video. I know it ain't much, but you know, it's content, and as all the YouTubers say, just make some content. So we're going to leave y'all with that one. Thanks again. I'll catch y'all on the next one.